Hi, this is Tony Laureti. I'm here with a friend. I guess we can call you a friend, Bill Johnston.
Definitely.
And we've known each other. We met each other back in, I think, 08, 09 at a fundraiser, Shoot for the Cure. I remember when you were working for the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And got to know you a little bit then, and you've now moved on and moved into new things, and wanted to spend a few minutes talking to you. Bill, why don't you tell us a little bit about, you've been with the Chargers, or you were with the Chargers for about 37 years, right?
Well, 38 to be exact, yeah,
Oh, wow.
But who's counting?
Yeah, and what did you start, how did you get into that position?
Well, I'm a local guy, born and raised San Diego, went to high school here, and then I was at San Diego State playing baseball, and then an injury kind of ended my baseball career, and so I really was kind of floundering, but still in school there. And my boss at the time, I had a part-time job in the administration office at State,
Mm-hmm.
and they pointed me to this internship that they knew of at the Chargers. And so I just went and applied for this internship and kind of finagled my way into it. I got an internship and I never left, and enjoyed it for a long time. And unfortunately, the ending happened the way it did.
Yeah, we all know about that, but when you started out with the Chargers, I think you were in public relations eventually, correct?
My entire career was in PR, yes.
Okay, and what types of things did you do for the Chargers?
Well,
in
the
PR?
last 27 years I was the PR director there, but when the job, and really in pro sports in general, the front offices have evolved over years, and particularly with the Chargers. When I first became the director in 1990, I went from being the director of community relations to the director of public relations, and at the time community relations was under public relations, and so was all of the public affairs for the company. All communications
Mm-hmm.
was under public relations, and so that's what I handled, and I handled all the communications for the organization, and kind of image building for really the last 27 years, and enjoyed it. Obviously we had our challenges,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah. So, did you get to travel with the team?
Yeah, I went to traveled every game, went to every home game, road game, and it was a great experience. I met a lot of great people. I was fortunate to work with a lot of great people at the Chargers, met a lot of people within the sports world, obviously, in the broadcasting world. I was
Sure.
the main contact for all the networks, and so I met a lot of great folks in the television world and cable and newspapers and radio and all that. So I was the go-between between all of them and the team and the players, and it was a great career that I'm very, very proud of, and now I made a good jump, I think, where I'm at.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that jump in a second, but I have two questions as far as the Chargers. I'm a huge Charger fan. I still am, even though they left. I really don't hold anything against the players.
Me too.
And I wish them well, and they've got a good team. But two questions for you. You met a lot of players, obviously. If you had to really, and if you can do this, tell me who your favorite person was, player, and why.
Boy, that's hard. There's the personalities and the guy. There's so many guys that I worked with over the years. Somebody that we both know, Charlie Joyner, was one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
When I first started working there, he was at the prime of his career, and I saw him work. I saw the way he, the effort he put into his job every day, and he just was one of those quiet, professional, players that had the very strong work ethic, and I just loved Charlie, the way he worked, and he was a guy that I could deal with on a one-to-one basis, and he, his word was all you needed. When Charlie told you he's going to do something, he did it, and so Charlie has been and still continues to be one of the favorite people I've ever met with the Chargers. I would say, the players that I worked with the most, obviously, were usually the most high-profile players, and so you ran into all kinds of personalities, all kinds of needs that they had, and all kind of quirks that you had to work with. And I would say some of the guys that I remember the most, and I think was fortunate enough to work with, are still with the team. Phillip Rivers,
right.
Terrific guy. Is all football.
Yeah.
That's all he cared about was football and winning. And Antonio Gates, just a class act, a true pro. Those guys are another two more of my favorites.
Yeah, and if you look at their careers, I mean, it's just mirrors their, their personality. Just outstanding.
Yeah, they've made the most of their career opportunity, and that's part of what I love about working in sports. I just love the attitude of that professional athletes can bring and what it takes, the effort, the perseverance to be a professional, to be at the best at this level.
Okay, and another quick question on the Chargers, and then we'll move on. You went to a lot of games. Do you have is there one game or one play or something about the actual team that really stands out that was, really one of your favorites?
Wow, of all the games, that's really hard. Obviously, the games that probably mean the most to all Charger fans are the ones that I remember the most. I was, if you want to really go back in time, the 1981 playoffs when the Chargers were in Miami playing the Dolphins, one of the greatest games of all time. I was there. I was actually our official team photographer for that game.
Ah, nice.
And my photography skills really were not very strong at the time, so the photography was pretty weak, but the memories I got from being on the field for that game and being a part of it and part of the organization. The thing I really liked most about the NFL and being a part of the Chargers was being in the locker room after a big win. And when you have a win like that, just such an emotional win, and to feel like at whatever small part you played in it, or just being a part of the organization, you felt a part of it, and you got that lift from being in that locker room after the game. So that was very special. Then the following week, the AFC Championship game in Cincinnati, when the temperatures got to -6 below zero and 59 degrees wind chill, minus 59 degrees wind chill factor in Cincinnati.
Cold.
That was a memorable moment. And but just every time there was a big win, particularly in the playoffs, when we won in Pittsburgh in '94 to go to the Super Bowl. Those are the kind of games that you just never forget, because it's not just impactful it wasn't just something that was important to me or meant a lot to me, but it was everyone in my family, and in that case, everyone in San Diego. It just meant so much to them.
Yeah, there's just nothing as exciting as your local team doing well, and especially on that big stage. But so the Chargers are gone, and now you're with the other professional team here in San Diego, down at the beautiful Petco Park.
Yep, San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
Couldn't be in a better spot.
Yeah, and rumor has it you've got the best job down there. And what is that?
Well, I don't know about the best job, but I'm enjoying it. My title is Special Advisor to the Executive Chairman. And
right.
What exactly that means, it changes every day. Ron Fowler is the Executive Chairman, and I've known Ron for many, many years. And when he heard that I was not going to be going to LA with the Chargers, my family situation didn't allow me to go.
Right.
He gave me a call, and I couldn't be more grateful. He's really given me the opportunity to expand what I've done in my career. I don't do any public relations. I don't do any of the communications or media relations. Well, it's more of a special projects position where I do a lot of things that Ron has always wanted to do in terms of expanding the organization, the Padres in the community, trying to help them do that. Bring some of the things that the Chargers had done in the community to the Padres, and some of the organizations that the Chargers had worked with and benefited over the years. Ron didn't want them to suffer when the football team left, so we've been able to take the relationship and build it into with the Padres and many charitable organizations in town. So we've expanded really the footprint of the Padres in the community. That's what he wanted to do, and I'm enjoying it. I really am.
Yeah, and you probably got a chance to meet some of the great players and been around that excitement. I'm sure it's a little bit different than football. Football's fast-paced. The crowds go crazy. This is a little bit, I always thought, with baseball, it's a little bit slower game, but it's a great game to watch.
My role is very different. Like you could gather, I worked with the players and the coaches on the football side and really everybody in the organization with the Chargers. And now I really don't have that one-to-one relationship with the players and the coaches. That's really not my role. anymore. I kind of miss that. I enjoyed, I mean, that's what I loved about being part of a sports team is that I love being, knowing the athletes and what they put into being as good as they are. So I really haven't gotten a chance to get to know many of the Padres very well. Many of the players, I should say, but the front office staff has been incredible, all the way from obviously Ron Fowler and Peter Seidler, through A.J. Preller and Andy Green and everybody in the front office and downstairs. Everybody has been very welcoming to me.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. And with all your experience, I'm sure Mr. Fowler probably looks to you and say, something like, "What do you think? What do you think about this?"
Yeah, he has. He's asked me, a lot, and I appreciate that. I mean, I welcome that, because there were times where I felt like in my other position I could have offered some advice or some different perspective, and it wasn't asked. And so Ron is, and I appreciate that. And it's one of the things he told me when he called me and we talked about coming to the Padres. He said, his organization, the Padres, is very young in a lot of ways. So, the front office is a lot of some very young folks or people that really haven't been in San Diego that long, and so he basically thought I could bring my experience in pro sports, my experience in the community, my connections and my relationships in the community, and just kind of expand that and help he's got a very strong organization to help them in whatever way I could.
Yeah, a lot of good things coming in the upcoming years with the Padres. They're making great strides with their players. They're looking pretty good. A little bit of a slow start, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think anyone was expecting a World Series this year. We all obviously want to go to the World Series every year, but I think the organization has done a great job of building from through the draft, and Ron and the Padres spent $100 million just a couple of years ago on some international players, more than any other team in baseball, and so that's going to pay off. It's just that the organization, the minor leagues are very young right now, and so got to give that a little time to develop.
Sure.
So they have been touting 2020 as a year to kind of
keep an eye on.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little earlier, but we're all hoping.
Right.
But, that's what people are saying. That's where we're looking.
Yeah,
the future looks good.
Yeah, I love watching the Padres. I watch them every time they're on in the evenings. It's a great thing. Bill, what really impressed me though about you, and obviously you've got another passion in your life. You got another job, I guess, and that is trying to tackle this Huntington disease situation. And tell us a little bit about it. Where you're at with that and how it's going.
Yeah, well, you're right. It is like another job, and pretty much I imagine a lot of people could relate to my situation. My wife was diagnosed with Huntington's disease back in 1999, and most people don't know what HD is. Huntington's disease, it's a neurological disorder, a brain disorder that affects people generally from about middle age on, and what happens is it's a disease where I won't get into the details of how it happens, but brain cells start dying, and they haven't figured out a way to stop the brain cells from dying. And it's not. And what happens to a person with HD is their brain basically starts dying, and it affects everything they do, from their mental capacity to their physical ability, their ability to walk, talk, anything that involved muscle coordination starts to deteriorate, to the point where they could become totally dependent on outside help. And so my wife Ramona was diagnosed in '99. It's a genetic disease too, which we had not heard of until she was diagnosed. And because it's not in her family that we're aware of, her mom and dad know. So, so having to deal with that, since she was diagnosed, having to, deal with 2 kids having potentially to inherit this disease.
Right.
has been, you can only imagine how you would imagine, with kids having to deal with the potential of inheriting a fatal brain disease.
Right.
But Ramona is still with us. She's in a hospital in Santee, Edgemore Hospital. They providing great care for her.
Is that part of the reason why you decided to stay here in San Diego and not go with the team, or?
It is. It is. I don't know if I could find, and I looked a little up in Orange County where the Chargers were going to be training, if I could find a place, and there was nothing that I found like it. Edgemore is a special place. It's for people that have a lot of serious issues, and it's not your typical hospital. It's really a care center for folks that really need more attention, and Ramona does. Like everyone in this hospital where she's at needs 24-hour care. And so she's been there, she's there now. She can no longer walk, talk, eat, chew food. She's on a feeding tube. She's, chorea, if people don't know what chorea is, it's a muscular issue where muscles, your brain just fires and it makes your muscles twitch. And so people with chorea, chorea, they're always jerking and twitching,
right,
and they can't control their muscles. And so people with HD, the only way they can stop that or do anything about it is through medication, and it numbs them. And so Ramona is going through that. It's really a difficult time right now, but she's still with us. I don't know all the time whether she's following me or can understand what I'm saying, or just knows what's going on. But I got to assume she does. So I talk to her every day, try to tell her what's going on.
You visit her every morning, don't you?
Every morning.
That's
yeah,
great.
I want her. I just want her to know I'm always there for her and doing whatever I can. And that's where I keep telling her. Mostly, I talk about things we're trying to do to raise money to find a cure for this disease.
Yeah. So my understanding is, as far as the research and the cure of this, I know we're not there to cure it yet, and that's your hope and desire, but it's genetic, and they've isolated the gene, I guess, that carries this.
Yep.
And so what are your hopes and your desires? I know you've raised probably over $1 million, trying to. So let us know where you're at with that.
Well, you're right. There is hope, and because they did find like you say, they found the gene, they isolated, they know where it is, they pretty much know what's going wrong. They just haven't figured out a way to stop it from occurring. There are some therapies out there that people are touting as potentials. Obviously, we've been praying for potentials for now with my wife of 18 plus years. So I'm a little bit jaded. I'm a little bit, tell me when there's something real.
Right.
But there's research going on everywhere across the country, around the world, really. And there's some great research being done in Southern California. Up in Irvine, there's a great program. And then there's a program right here of Ionsis is the name of the company, producing something that basically the idea is it just shuts off the gene. In their mind, they figured out a way to just cut out a gene from the chain. So, should that actually get to trials and human trials, we'll see. And that's the hope and the prayer. But in the meantime, like I tell anybody that'll listen, my goal right now is just to raise awareness about this disease and in hopes of also raising money to get into the hands of researchers so they can continue to do what they do.
If somebody wanted to, I personally want to donate some money to this cause and help out the situation. How do they do it? Do you have a website? Can you direct us to somewhere?
Yeah, there's a national organization, Huntington's Disease Society of America. They're out of New York, but there's offices around the country, and it's the website. It's hdsa.org, and it's a national website, hdsa.org.
Okay.
And we have a local chapter as well, which is hdsa.org/SD. So as per San Diego. So, but if they just Google Huntington's disease, they'll find it, and they'll see right there the horrific nature of this disease. It's a disease that so few people know about, but has so much potential to be cured.
And I think, and we'll finish up with, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on at Petco Park coming up pretty soon? Is that something that you have going to help the cause?
Yeah, well, we're aside from baseball, obviously.
Right.
We're doing an event, the Huntington Disease Society. We are working on an event that's going to take place June 28th right there at Park at the Park. It's basically, the event is called Shoot to Cure HD. And it's a basketball event. It's a speed free throw shooting.
That's where I met you.
Competition. Yeah. And it's really like a tournament where we'll get teams, people buy teams, they come out, and it's a fun, basically it's just a fun party. And the entertainment is the shooting.
Right.
We make it a party because free drinks, free food, people just come out, enjoy themselves, and a lot of times embarrass themselves by shooting.
I was one of those.
Yeah, but it's just fun, and you don't have to be a basketball player, of any skill level. What you're doing is you and 4 people, so you got a 5-person team, are shooting for 3 minutes, rotating 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, and then your best shooter is shooting for 60 seconds, and you try to make as many free throws as you can in that 3-minute period, and then if you pass the mark, you move up to the next level.
Right.
And we give prizes for the best teams, and but it's really just a lot of fun. And we get about 25 bars and restaurants bringing out their food, and it's all free for our folks to come out and eat and enjoy themselves.
Now I know when you did it with the Chargers, people could pay a little extra and get we had LaDainian Tomlinson on our team, who was pretty good.
Okay, yeah. We used to be able to do that. I don't know if we're going to do that this year.
Okay.
Because we don't have. It became, sometimes the players, if they didn't get bid on, maybe kind of upset a little bit. Nobody wants me out. No.
Yeah, right.
So we don't want to hurt the feelings. So we probably won't have the auction for players again. But they're all there.
Right.
We get the guys come. We'll have Padres there. We'll have a bunch of former Chargers. I'm hoping. The Chargers will be done. And there are guys that still live in town that have come to this every year. And current. That's what I mean. Current Chargers. So they'll be their off-season training is done. They're on their vacation, so who knows? Maybe we'll get some of those guys.
So are you looking for participants?
We're looking for teams. You can buy teams. You can buy tickets.
Okay. So how does someone get that information?
You can go right to the website. Like I said, it's hdsa.org/SD. Or they can, if they forget that, they can get right in touch with me at the Padres, and I'll connect them. A team. You get 10 people on your team, but only 5 get to shoot. So, like I said, nobody has to shoot.
Right.
Just get 5 people to shoot, but 10 people get to go, and it's a great deal. You get all the food and drinks you want, and all you can eat. For I think it's $120 a person, $1,200 for your 10-person team. Or if just somebody wants to go on a date, 2 people, it's $150 a ticket.
Nice.
And it's a great time. Outdoors, Park at the Park. And I know everybody's been to the Park at the Park before. It's just a great venue.
Yeah. Well, hey, great chatting with you, and good luck with that. And I'll probably be down there.
I hope to see you. Yeah, you got to come on out.
Good seeing you.
Bring
man.
some
Thank
of your
you.
folks. You'll have a great time.
Yeah, we'll have a great time. Thanks.
You got
Appreciate
it.